All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talk Tuesday. I have the privilege and honor to introduce Ms. Lena Dumani this morning. Ms. Lena Dumani has over 20 years of in-depth experience in the field of clinical nutrition and dietetics. Her experience spans a wide array of services related to diet and disease therapy, including diabetes, heart disease, weight loss and obesity, eating disorders, and psychology of eating. Lena holds a master's degree in clinical nutrition and dietetics from King's College and University of London. She also trained in New England Deaconess Hospital in Boston, Massachusetts, with a stay at Joslin Diabetic Center. She further trained at St. Mary's Hospital in Paddington, UK, in food service management and production of therapeutic diets. Lena has worked as an instructor in clinical nutrition and dietetics at the American University in Beirut. She also headed dietary departments in several hospitals. After gaining experience in outpatient nutrition, consulting services at GNC Clinics, Cooper Health Clinic, and Kamali Clinic, Lena found her passion in treating individuals suffering from eating disorders. She is trained in ED, Eating Disorders, practitioner, and an active member of the Academy of Eating Disorders in the U.S. and the MEDA, Middle East Eating Disorder Association. In community and public areas, Lena has been active in several school projects that focused on health awareness in schools targeting both students and teachers. She also appeared on the Dubai This Morning show, Dubai TV, for more than a year, where she tackled important upcoming topics on optimal health issues, answering questions for viewers and giving advice on recommended eating habits. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Lena Dumani.
Good morning, everyone. So, to prepare for this talk today, I thought what would be the best advice or idea I can share with you from my experience of 20 years in nutrition. And what I would love for you to keep in mind after this talk is the healthy connection between mental health and physical health, which is very much interrelated to our body image and our children's body image and body weight. So before going further, what is body image? Body image is the perception of oneself, how we see ourselves, and the thoughts about and the feelings of how our personal self is like. And these thoughts and feelings can be either negative or positive or both. And they are usually influenced by individual and environmental factors. Whereas body weight refers to your actual weight in kilograms that is affected by the gravity, basically, and it's your body mass. So how is body weight and body image related to our mental health and physical health? The reason I'm talking about this, because us as parents, we always want the best for our children. We want to raise them to have self-confidence, self-esteem. We want them to be ambitious. We want them to be a better person every day for their family, for their society, to be better citizens, and to have this will all create kind of positive mental health that will nourish the soul. At the same time, we care as parents, so there's something wrong with the slide, but it's okay. We care about their physical health status in a way. We want them to not be sick most of the time, free of ailments, eating well, and trying to put them through certain activities so that they are basically active on a daily basis. So this connection between mental health and physical health nourishes the body and the soul, basically. So we are mentally in a positive state and physically fit to be able to do, I don't know what's going wrong. I have to go back and forth. Yes, here it is. Okay, so us in the nutrition field, we spent a lot of time talking about diets, dietary habits, what's healthy, what's not. And there are guidelines that I will go through during this talk today, what guidelines to follow to make sure that our kids are eating the healthy and making good, the right food choices. But what about if your child comes to you and a question comes out like, Mom, am I fat? Or why somebody told me I'm fat? And how can we talk to our children regarding fitness, regarding exercise, regarding how to keep fit and healthy? Towards the end of the session, I will, just because I have this passion towards eating disorders, I want to list the traits, the common traits that are common with people with anorexia nervosa, just in case somebody, a parent is worried about a child having different kinds of behaviors towards food and exercise. So these are common traits. These are not diagnostic. They are just signs alarming signs that make you have this question mark and seek professional help. So what is our role as parents? Instinctively, parents know what to do. We know how to feed. We are the best people that know the best interests of our kids. We know how to feed them. We know how to take care of them. We know what's good for them, because we are the first individuals that our child encounters when he's born, basically. And I have to go back and forth. Here we are. Okay. And the infant himself, from the moment of birth, is exposed to the outside world through the rooting reflex. If somebody is not aware of it, the rooting reflex is when you put your finger on an infant's cheek, automatically he seeks that finger to suck it, to touch it, so that the mouth is the contact between the infant and the outside world. And who is in charge of that? The parents, either the mom or the dad or whatever. So we are the ones who deal with this connection with the outside world by feeding our child and by knowing how much. And this is usually by demand. So feeding can be either with breastfeeding or with the bottle. The more the child interacts with his mouth, the more food is there. So this is the first learned behavior an infant or human beings get to know. It's a learned behavior. I feed, I get more milk, basically. So parents are the primary caregivers who can influence and instill those proper eating habits. So from infancy, parents are worried about timing. How much should I give my child and how often? So we are in control, basically, and we are the gatekeepers. However, as time goes by, throughout the lifespan, this control and power becomes less and less, and it gets reduced. Why is that? Because I'm sure you can share with me a lot of ideas about that. So as our children become toddlers, there are other factors that affect what they eat and how much they eat. Play dates at the toddler age, for example, I remember when my daughter was 3 or 4, she had a problem with eating fruits. She doesn't like the texture of it because some kids have sensory issues. They have extra sensory taste buds that send messages to the brain as either this is yummy or yucky. So I used to take her to our neighbor's daughter who loved fruits, and they would sit together and mirror each other's behavior. And this is the way I thought maybe if she sees that girl eating the fruits, she'll be encouraged. So at the toddler age, children mirror the behavior of their play date, basically. As they grow, not only the parents affect what influence what our children eat, but the circle becomes bigger and bigger. And then there is the siblings and the extended family. So, I know my son used to tell me, why do I have to eat the broccoli if Noor is not eating it? So they would challenge each other. She doesn't eat vegetables, why do I have to eat vegetables? or a grandma who every time, visits the family would insist on giving some sweets or sugary sweets to the child. So that circle becomes bigger and bigger. And as we go into primary years, please feel free to interrupt and add any ideas if you have. I'm sure you have more experiences than me. As they go into primary years, children often now, these days, are affected by the social media. Ads, TV ads, YouTube. There's a lot of information coming to the children about food. Even on billboards, also on Sheikh Zayed. One time I was driving on Sheikh Zayed and my son said, I want this. It was a sizzling chicken. I don't know from where, but he said, I want that chicken. I said, no, you're not. So we are still trying to control what they eat, but there's a lot of outside influence as well. Cultural celebrations. In 2 days it's Halloween, and we worry about this sugar rush, but we want our kids to enjoy these cultural events, right? Birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving. It's nice to know how to draw the line between enjoying tasty food and our cultural celebrations and knowing what's right for us and our kids. So we want to have this balance again between mental health and physical health. Adolescence, during adolescence year, definitely the parents' control and effect on their children becomes smaller and smaller. In adolescence, I bet teenagers would listen to their friends, not to their parents most of the time, not only when it comes to food, but also to other behavioral aspects. For example, if a teenager is friends with a group of people who go out on a daily basis to eat outside, so they will be like the gourmet type of friends, or else your daughter is with another group of friends that is athletic, and watch what they eat. In both cases, we should watch and try to bring them in the middle as well to have this. So please, if you have more ideas you can add about the influence of eating on our children, I would really like any experience you had, feel free to add on maybe later. Okay, so what guidelines did nutritionists come up with to advise parents and people in general on what to eat and what not to eat? The Nutrition Academy, the Academy of Nutrition, came up with something called My Plate. So basically, My Plate is what you see on your plate. That's divided into 4 quarters: fruits, vegetables, proteins, and grains, and dairy on the side. They came up with this after, and they moved away from the food guide pyramid, because they thought food guide pyramid was very confusing. I don't know if you're aware of the food guide pyramid, anyone? So it was a pyramid with somebody walking on it to show activity, and at the bottom there's grains that you have to eat most grains. So now they kind of made it into quarters. However, this guideline has a lot of drawbacks. It doesn't say how much water we should drink on a daily basis. It doesn't tell me if my daughter comes to me, I'm still hungry, this is not enough. Or it doesn't say what kind of proteins and vegetables. And how about sweets and types of oils? And what is the activity that the nutritionists every day tell us that you have to be active 30 minutes a day? So it does have drawbacks. And the other institutions, like the Cleveland Clinic, they modified My Plate, and they put more pictures to make it more, attractive to children. They added the water here, and they made like a plan, 5 steps to follow, going from here: that be healthy inside out, consume 0 sugar sweetened drinks, so that not to encourage fizzy drinks that are high in sugar, like iced tea, etc. Get at least 1 hour of exercise. So they did add the exercise here. Limit media to 2 hours a day. Now that we have media, we're bombarded by the media. Consume 3 calcium products, and this is just because of the increased rate of vitamin D deficiency and having frail bones, basically. Give and get 4 compliments a day. I love this one, actually. I really like it. This is my favorite. This is what boosts the self-confidence in our kids and give them the sense of, you know, I'm okay, I'm good. And eat 5 fruits and veggies a day. So this is the modified My Plate. Harvard University went a step further, where they included the use of healthy oils, the PUFAs, basically, the polyunsaturated fatty acids. And they stated that you should stay active, and a little bit how many servings you should have of liquids, drink water, tea, or coffee with little or no sugar, limit milk, dairy to 1 to 2 servings, avoid sugar. So a little bit of more explanatory ideas so that it's more detailed. But what it doesn't say how we talk to our kids. So how can we convince them to follow these guidelines? How can we be a barrier between these all outside factors that affects their eating habits and their mental state of mind? The one message that I've always tried to tell my kids, basically, is that there is no one kind of food that has all the vitamins and minerals our body needs. So these vitamins, minerals are called essential vitamins, essential minerals, essential fatty acids. Why? Because our body does not fabricate them. So we need to eat them to survive. We need to eat them because they have special bodily functions. They carry on reactions in our body. So what's in the carrot is not in the potato. What's in rice is not in the broccoli. So we have to eat a variety of food so that there is every single kind of nutrient in that food is in our body to carry a certain function. However, we have to keep in mind that healthy eating is healthy eating no matter what the size of your child is, irrespective of size. That's a mistake that many parents worry about. Do not worry if your child is a bit overweight. It's not alarming. Every child needs a different kind of energy storage to grow. At the right time, they will grow. So it's a common mistake that at that age, a child should not be on calorie restriction at all. Both of them, as you can see, they need the same amount of nutrients and energy. But they use it differently because of genetics, because of bodily functions. One child stores it and uses it later at an age, and the other one is more active as he grows. So we go back to basics when we have a child who is a little bit overweight. The guidelines, the healthy eating, being active, and having a positive attitude in general. So these are some tips maybe you can find helpful. So we start by having small portions, serving small portions, and serving on demand, not, so from following the My Plate guide and adding on demand. Removing distractions, why is that? It's because, again, going back to this learned behavior of the infant that learned that whenever he opens his mouth, he sucks this milk, he will have more milk. Again, the learned behavior is that we go to the movies automatically. We don't feel like having popcorn, but we have it anyway. The eating activity should be separated from any other activities because it gets linked to that. So some kids get used to studying and eating, even though they're not thinking what they're doing, but they're reading and having munchies, I don't know what. Or being on the table, but looking at the iPad and watching. First of all, they don't know how much they're eating, they're not enjoying their food, and this learned behavior becomes, if anything happens and they cannot do these two together, it gives them some kind of distress. So eating is there to be mindful, to know, to enjoy it, and to know how much you're eating. So separating activities is very important. Never praising or criticizing of what they did or they didn't eat, because it's better to give praise on activities. For example, choosing to play outside rather than playing a video game inside. Not on what the food, of what they've eaten or not eaten, but rather on their behavior. Having a meal snack routine, I mean, studies have shown that children in a growing age, they need continuous energy during the day for their brain functioning as well. So a meal snack between 2.5 to 4 hours, every 2.5 to 4 hours, they need to have something to fuel them, to give them energy. Eating together as a family is very important. Because of all those factors that I talked about, the outside factors that influence our children's eating habit, it's a chance for us to have at least one meal a day with our kids. I know life, the pace of life is very hard these days, but one meal a day with your child can give him some control, and you make sure what he's eating. And if not both parents can do it, at least one parent try to do it for 20 to 30 minutes a day. No discussion of weight and calories. Why is that? I mean, a child, a 10-year-old, why is it he should be interested on knowing weight and calories? They should be playing. They should be learning other things. This is not it's not the age for them to worry about that. They have other things that should occupy their mind rather than being obsessed about how many calories in an apple or a bar of chocolate. Yes, please.
Okay, so you don't want to discuss weight and calories, but what about making them aware? Like, if you just keep eating so much junk food, you don't want to, like, this is what you might look like. Is that, like, a negative? Like, you don't want to discuss that with them?
Yes.
I feel like my 11-year-old should, because she doesn't care, you know? She's like, I don't care. So, you know, I want to teach her. I'm like, well, if you keep eating, then this is what you will look like. Like, my husband has lost a ton of weight as a child. He was really big. So my kids...
Does she know that?
Yeah, she knows that.
She knows that her father was
yeah.
big?
And my husband said, this is what I was eating, ice cream and cookies, you know? So he brings that up to her to show her so that she's aware. But she's a girl, but she's at this point that
This is a very important question.
So how do I, you know,
yes.
Do we talk about it more? Do we just leave it? Or
no, you talk about it, but with limits.
Okay.
Most kids that are susceptible to having issues with food have parents who had issues with food. I'm not saying that your daughter's going to have any issue with food, but this is what I've seen in my work experience. However, if you keep on telling her, don't eat this is not good for you, and eat that, she's not going to listen to you. You say it once, and you put what your job is to provide the healthy food at home. Okay? And every now and then, she has to have a cheat day. She has to have something to cheat. Because if she's not going to have it, she'll find a way to have it. So you want her, it's better for you for you to know what she's having. If she wants that ice cream once a week, once a day, it's okay. How old is your daughter?
11.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. This is too early. And I will I will tell you now, at 11, this is a very critical age. If you keep on giving her restraints and deprivation, she will find a way, and then you're opening the road to an eating disorder. So, provide healthy meals, and every now and then, give her a treat. If you don't give her a treat, she will binge. Okay? So, reach out for the pediatrician. This is very important again. So if you take this yearly visit to pediatrician, reach out to your pediatrician before the yearly visit, because what I've seen from some pediatricians, they're not aware of the remarks that they say in front of the child. So they take out this growth chart, and either the child, if he's underweight or overweight, it doesn't help to say the remark, and he shouldn't be saying it. It's you, the parent, should convey this message to the child. Some kids are not susceptible to these things. It's okay. I mean, whatever you say to them, they're immune, but others are very susceptible, and they keep it in mind, and they react to it. So if the pediatrician would say, your son is above the 50th percentile, and he should lose 5 kilos, this will stay there, and he knows that this man, the pediatrician, which is like goddess, told me I need to lose 5 kilos, and this is so demeaning for the child. We don't want that. We want to talk to the pediatrician alone, discuss what we should do, and try to make the changes at home, slowly and gradually. It's not the end of the world. They're gonna grow. So what about dessert? This is what I wanted to talk to you. Yes, I highly recommend having dessert 2 to 3 times a week for growing children, okay? Because this will make them normal kids. This is the way we have been grown. It's only the food industry has changed our mentality towards eating. And to verify my point is that you don't know when they go to other people's houses what they're eating. So you don't want them to go there as if they've never seen anything in their life. So they have to have this comfort and this reassurance and confidence in their own homes. The mother's eating habits and mother's diet is very important. Research has shown, it's not 100% sure because I don't want mothers to feel guilty. It's not their problem. But some research has shown that kids are very much influenced by what mom eats, basically. So if the mother has to, for any reason, be on a special diet, it's better to keep it low-key and not to, announce it to the family. Because they will, if mom, especially girls, they want to be like their moms. So keep it low key, and if you have to eat a special diet, definitely don't eat alone. You have to still try to integrate yourself within the family. So setting a good example is very good. So if I want my daughter to eat fruits and I don't eat fruits, so I have to, let's go. It's snack time. So I cut my apples and we sit together and have it. So they will try also to imitate us as role models. Oops, sorry. Here we go. Yes, being active. So we instill in them the right eating habits as much as we can, but on the other side, we want them to move. So we want them to make the smart choices of food and be more active. So we can have fun with them, and once a week, twice a week, encourage our children to do activities like cycling. Now the weather is getting better. Maybe they can cycle together as a family. That's the question that I've been waiting for. So what do you do if your daughter comes to you and tells you, or your son, Mom, I'm fat? How would you react? She comes one day from school saying, Mom, am I fat? Sorry?
I use the word strong, so I don't use the word fat.
Good. That's one option.
Strong.
You're strong.
I'm strong. Okay. She's broader than her brother is. My son is very skinny. My daughter is bigger.
Excellent. This is excellent.
How strong you are.
Yes, definitely. I don't know if any of you have been faced with that. The most important thing is to be engaged as well with your children when they come up with these questions. You have to talk about it. Talking about it in a positive way. Maybe somebody said something at school, or maybe she's upset because her clothes are tight on her, or maybe your son was not accepted in a sports team for any reason. But remember, these things, not being in a kind of a sports team, it's frustrating not only for kids who are overweight, also for other kids who are at the right weight, but the sports is not good for them. It's not the sport that suits them. So we need to tackle and find out ourselves rather than them going to other channels to find the answers. We want to know what happened, who gave the remark, why they're feeling this, and encourage open-ended conversations in a way so that they talk about it, because when they talk about it, it lessens their anxiety and their frustration about being overweight.
Can I just say one thing? It's
Yes.
also on the other side when your child is very thin.
Absolutely.
So equally, they can be singled out for, and especially if you know that they eat a very healthy, they eat a lot, but they don't understand also when they're younger why are they slimmer than some of the other children. So it can go either way.
Absolutely. And this is what I'm saying with the pediatrician. Sometimes underweight kids, they are frustrated that they have a high metabolism. They eat, and they're still frail and skinny. And this is frustrating for them to be part in special sports as well. So it's both frustrating on both ends. Yes, please.
Yeah, just to follow up on being the underweight child.
Yeah.
How do you feel about giving formula milk to those, like 7-year-old child? I mean, they got this formula milk, available commercially.
Oh,
and they
okay.
said, to help them put in weight, gain weight, and then
You mean the formula milk that we give for the under 2 years old as well?
Yeah, this one is until 12 years old.
Yes, yes,
Sure.
yes. Yeah. You didn't want to give. I know which one. Yes, I recommend it very much. I use it actually for people with anorexia nervosa. We use it because it has all the nutrients and it has a certain kind of. Sorry.
He's been on pediatrician for 2 to 7 years old, and then we didn't see really that. I mean, of course, there's a draw.
Because it's not enough. There's only 200 calories in the Pediasure, so it's not enough.
Yeah.
This is only supplementary to make sure she's not missing on any nutrients. But food has to be there, and you want to encourage your child to eat. This is just to put you on the safe side. If your child is 11 now, I think she can go on 7. No, not yet Pediasure. Another one, Ensure, which is also beneficial. So we need to talk about it, and it's very important to tell our children not to compare themselves to others, because especially girls at puberty, you can see in one class, same age girls with different heights and different sizes. And when as they grow, these differences are lessened. They are much reduced. But at a certain age, before puberty until adolescence, there are huge differences in one class. So we have to explain to our kids that each child grows at a different rate. I remember my nephew actually. One time he showed me a picture of him when he was in 9th grade. He was the shortest, and most of his classmates were taller than him and bigger than him. And now he's 190 centimeters. Obviously, I was shocked. And one of the tallest comes back to him here. So we cannot judge, and we have to explain. This is what we have to talk to our children about, how we grow differently. And yes, compliments. Yeah, it's very important that we do love them, but we have to express it as well, that they are perfect. Like the lady said, you are strong, you are, I like you the way you are, and you are, and don't give criticism and compliments on physical aspects, also on other aspects. With anorexia, for example, they have very low self-esteem, and most of them, what we try to do is to shift the brain thinking from weight and losing weight into what they can offer. So what we did at the clinic is that one of my patients was very artistic. So I said, you've been spending most of your life for 3 years now thinking how much calories are there in that muffin. I'm not eating it. So the brain is totally taken by counting calories and trying to those negative thoughts to deprive herself from food. And I thought, now it's time to change that. So I asked her to do the paintings, and we wanted to do like an exhibition in the clinic. So it shifted her mind, and she came up with like 10 small paintings that she did over a period of time, and we made this exhibition, and it showed how much talent she has, rather than spending time thinking of what I'm gonna eat next and how many calories is there in that food. So this is, I took from Raise Healthy Eaters, and it tells us basically about some lessons that we can teach our children. The first one is very interesting, actually. Just because you hear it, it doesn't mean it's true. And this reflects the media. So not everything you read on Google is true, and not everything you see in ads basically is true. You have to verify. Make sure that this is scientifically based, and not even everything you hear is true about yourself. You know yourself better than people who are telling you how you look and how you feel. Don't judge someone based on their size and body shape. We don't want anyone to judge our children, and we don't want our children to judge others about size and shape as well. Take care of your body. It does a lot for you. Well, I read somewhere that this is take care of your body. This is your home for the rest of your life. So we really have to keep it fit and healthy. Eat a variety of nutritious food for taste, health, and feel good. So it's not only for healthy, it's just also for our mental health, again, to feel good. Be aware of the thin ideal in magazines, TVs, and websites. So there is this thin inheritance idea about everybody needs to be thin. No, everybody needs to be fit, healthy, and strong rather than, Okay, I have seen more and more children at a younger age with some kind of eating disorder and this obsession with eating clean, lean food. Yes, we want to eat clean, lean food, but kids at that age, there's something very important that's been taken away from them, and this is a part of their childhood that's disappearing. If we keep them, this is our duty, not their duty to be thinking about clean and lean. They just follow the guidelines. You prepare the food, you put it on the table, and they eat it, and then they go play. But not instead of playing, thinking, what am I gonna eat next? What's good for me? I hope I'm sending the message right. I wanted to list these, the traits of, common traits of anorexia nervosa, just in case somebody is wondering. These are not diagnostic. These are only list of common attributes that people with anorexia nervosa have. So most of the time, they cut on one group of food. Basically, usually it's carbohydrate. They take it out of their diet completely. They eat low-calorie foods, such as lettuce or cucumber. They find reasons to skip meals. They come up with all sorts of excuses. Mom, I can't, I have to study. Mom, I can't, I have to talk to my friend. Any kind of a silly excuse, but not to be at meals at the table. They avoid family meals or express a wish to eat alone. I don't want to sit with you today. I'm upset. I'm in a bad mood. So they get and isolate themselves. They lose a great amount of weight in a very short period of time. And they embark on very ambitious types of exercise. So you can be very suspicious when your child locks herself or himself in the room and do sit-ups, push-ups, morning, lunch, and evening, or in the bathroom. Usually they lock themselves and do 100 abs, planks, extra, more than what they're doing at school or their usual activity. Is noticeably self-conscious about their body, so they're always, checking their body, and engage in ritual kind of eating. Usually they cut their food into little small pieces so that they think that they're eating too much and they stop at an earlier stage. They choose baggy clothes. This was funny. I want to share with you this story actually. At the clinic, one time I was working with a psychologist on a case of a young girl. She was 14. She had anorexia nervosa, and we do weighing every week, and I'm the one responsible for weighing. And I just was checking her food diary, making sure that she's been eating her meals and snacks and everything, and having her Ensure as well. And I asked her to step on and she was wearing this huge sweater. And I said, can you take off the sweater? She said, no, I cannot take. And I said, you're hiding something under your sweater? She said, no, I don't want you to see my belly. I said, I know, I mean, I'm not gonna judge your belly, but what do you have under your sweater? And she took out 6 perfume bottles. She was hiding under here her sweater 6 perfume bottles to weigh more, because, or else there were, this is with family-based therapy, what we do, parents take control at that age about the feeding, and if the child doesn't eat or loses weight, they take away privileges from them. They put them at home, they don't go to school, to make sure that they're eating the right food. So she was hiding, and it's not only to hide, also they wear these big baggy clothes because they don't want to be judged. They think that they have this huge belly, and they don't want anyone to see their contour, basically. They become more withdrawn and more isolated. They don't want to go out to restaurants because at restaurants they are served foods that they're not sure how it's prepared. Usually they like to cook, prepare their own food, and they don't engage in outings that's around, eating or going to a restaurant. Well, so parents who encourage their children to diet may actually undermine their own intent. Often children will develop unhealthy dieting that can lead to increased risk of eating disorder. So going back to my original slide, to wrap up, this is what my message to parents and to myself as well, is to always try, we want to be fit, healthy, we want to have the right food choices so that we have the right, healthy weight. However, on the other hand, at the same time, I would like myself and my children to have the good mental health status that will give me a positive body image, how I look, how I perceive myself, and this is done through continuous effort of fortifying and nourishing both the mental status and the physical status. Thank you so much for listening to me today, and if you have any more questions, I'm here to answer all your questions.
Based on your experience with academic institutions and schools and stuff, what tips do you have for us in school? The second is, I have very young children, so but I have one question, which is breakfast for us is really very big, and my son eats breakfast so-so. My daughter get hungry at some point. And learn to feed yourself. But the constant badgering that we do as parents at breakfast time before school is quite a bit for 7-year-old. Every day it's the same routine. And I'm wondering if after a while that just, because I don't think I ate breakfast much when I was a kid. And I never
Breakfast now?
I do, I love breakfast. Yeah, so I wasn't really worried. But does that manifest itself later in issues when you have, I'm more concerned about my daughter than my son, but like when she doesn't eat, she'll have like 5 strawberries.
Is it only breakfast that she doesn't eat?
Only breakfast.
Only breakfast. Yeah, I mean, my advice, yeah, it might change. It might change. Maybe she's eating. You have to. There are very much individual differences. And when you want to look at why this is happening in the morning, you have to see what she's doing in the evening as well. Okay, what time she's having dinner, what's going on, is she drinking water before breakfast, what activities is she doing. So it's not only the breakfast that we can say she doesn't have breakfast. There are other reasons why she's not having breakfast. So you have to know what time she's having dinner, what she's doing in the evening, what she's eating, what kind of activity she's doing, physical activity during the day. Once you answer these questions for breakfast, my advice to you, you serve breakfast every single day. For her, you have 2 kids? Yes. For the family, mom, dad, her, and her brother, you serve it. She eats, she doesn't eat, you're serving breakfast. But badgering is not going to happen. Learning by observation is very good. Eventually, I mean, actually, sometimes if you ignore for a little bit, not for a long period of time, can be helpful. Going back to your first question regarding schools, yes, our kids spend most from 8 to 3 at school, and my kids were in this one. And I know that the ASD, what kind of food service they have, and what kind of physical activity curriculum they have. And I believe they are doing their best to send the right messages to our children. In physical education, they teach them about, they have nutrition classes, basically, the sports teacher, which sends the right messages. And I had to look at it because my kids were here. We didn't have this when we were at school, but it's part of, and it's not only the American school, it's part of the governmental thing. The government here is asking the schools to really install it. I have my reservations about what's happening because I see a lot of eating disorders as well. I prefer teaching my children and empowering them to make the right choices rather than forcing it on them. You force them, as I said, when they are young, not forcing them, you teach them the right way of eating. But as they grow, your control is getting less and less. So you want to let them drive through adolescence and through primary years, knowing what to do. So you empower them from the beginning, and they make their own choices. And this gives them sense of I'm doing it, sense of them in control. And most eating disorders, they come out because of lack of control. So this is a very critical aspect.
So a question I have is supporting, so thinking about, so my daughter's 15 and thinking about, she's encountered a relative who had an eating disorder, had to go through a home-based program, like pretty extreme, right? So how to, supporting, it could be anybody, right? It could be a friend. How to support that, how to acknowledge that without going down the road of the issue that's at hand. Is that you don't want to talk about the food issue, but how do you support that? How do you support that as an adult with a child? It could be your own child, but it happens to
How
be
to
a relative.
support that regarding your child with her friend?
Yes.
Or
Yeah. And what to say, what not to say. If she maybe encounters it in somebody else she sees. Because there's, as you said, there's a lot of influence peer to peer, but you don't want to put that pressure on a child to be the one to,
Yes.
So.
I have seen this in teenagers. They attract each other, by the way. When somebody's suffering from Anorexia Nervosa, I've seen it in another school. At that 13, 14, 15 age, if somebody, they become friends. Okay, they become friends and they feed on each other. So if you have a daughter and you're concerned that she's friends with somebody like this, I'm not saying you have to detach this or cut this friendship. The only way is to accentuate what your daughter has as attributes and try to because what anorexia is a disease that is an obsession in the mind. So what goes 24 hours on their mind is food, calories, and how can I lose. And once they lose, it gets rewarded. So what you can do to your child is to do these distractions, accentuate what she has, what other activities she can do, and maybe she can help her instead. So instead of telling her it's not good to diet, it's not going to work. On the other hand, try to make her more busy in other things. And this is what we do. We deal with the, I'm not sure if you know the pie of life, the pie of activity. So if people have a balanced kind of life, this, 360 degrees pie, you have equal slices of things that occupy your mind during the day. Whereas anorexic have, boom, 50-50. You don't want your daughter to be thinking too much about it. So if you discuss food too much with her, you're encouraging that.
Yeah, and I'm not necessarily worried about that, but it's just like I felt like
Yes.
That peer-to-peer relationship can be positive.
And it can be negative, definitely.
So, I mean, they're in the States, so I don't have to worry about this like seeing all the time, but just
Yeah.
so but even at ASD, if you encountered somebody,
Yes.
a friend or whatever,
Yes.
how can you?
Yeah, if you've encountered it, you have to, and the only thing you can do is first psychoeducate, education by insisting that this is going to lead to detrimental effects physically. Most of people with anorexia nervosa have zero bone mineralization. Their bones are very frail and they have imbalanced electrolytes, and there's a huge risk of having sudden death because of the heart. So you would tell her this, definitely. Not
She's
food.
seen it firsthand, so
Yeah.
that's why.
You would tell her this. You take up the books, you read what are the consequences of anorexia nervosa, and really scare the hell out of her, excuse me. But not talking about food and being losing weight and blah, blah, blah. It's not going to help. What's going to help is educating her on the consequences of anorexia and then distract her thinking. Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to take your opinion on the issue now that cow's milk, let's say, suddenly we read don't give cow's milk, move on to switch to goat milk and soy milk, or eat lots of kale, and then suddenly kale has a lot of PAS. So this is too much now going on my brain. It's what am I doing to my kids? But no, I know that cow's milk has been there on earth for many years. Do I switch? Do I not switch? No more kale. Do I get kale? How do you control all of this coming from outside?
This is unfortunately, it's the media and the food industry. Okay. One study comes out on cow's milk, and the food industry takes it and starts manufacturing things for basically making money.
Okay.
However, having said that, few people have issues with cow's milk. Not everybody has.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Me, my example, I used to live in the suburbs. We used to have cow's milk from the cow.
Yeah, of course, yeah. That's what I was saying.
Yeah, and till this age, I drink cow's milk. However, some people have, it's the protein, not only the lactose.
Yeah.
It's the protein in milk that can cause certain reactions.
How much of this research coming out?
No, if your children and they can tolerate it, cow's milk is the closest to the original human milk that if you like it.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about the calcium, they can take it from other food products like cheese and yogurt and oranges, and there are fish.
Yeah.
There is a calcium there. So if they don't like it, you can test your children and see if they they have a reaction to either lactose or casein.
No, they're okay. My thing is, how much should you hear of what researchers are coming out? I still give my kids milk, cow's milk. I did not change. But for me, in the head is like,
You
okay.
have to verify. As I said, not everything you have to verify. Go to evidence-based articles that tell you, yes, this is. But these reactions are for people who are susceptible, not for everybody who is otherwise healthy.
Yeah.
So otherwise healthy, you can have it, no problem.
I just wanted to share because I know when you Google search something, you feel bombarded as a parent, and there's so many different, admin stores. This is going to cause this, and you feel a little bit lost. But there's a great website where people have done all the work for you, and they reviewed the evidence-based articles. And the one I always go to share with my families is healthinchildren.org.
Yes.
It's released by the American Academy of Pediatrics. Then you can just they actually have the sources, and if you want to learn more, you're not overwhelmed by a lot of the anecdotes that Google search engine will pop up.
This one. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Sorry, I forgot to put the references. Yes.
So I also have little children, so 6 and 4. And there's this, they love sweets. So the other kids who will go to someone's house and there's dessert and they just go crazy, right? So the other ones are
Because they don't have it at home.
well, they do have it at home, but then I try to moderate it. And so one of the things that I did this weekend was after the fall, I think on Friday they had so much candy. And so on Saturday I said, okay, let's lay out the candy, all of it. And so they laid it out and I was like, all right, eat the candy. Okay, good candy. Good. Yeah, but it was so much that I was like, oh my goodness, we need to stop.
But you did the right thing, mind you. You did the right thing.
No, then after that I was like, okay, so let's take some candy, we'll put it out, and then I'll be giving it to you, a little at a time. Like every day is choosing in 3 days. That was Saturday morning. In the afternoon, they had found the candy somehow, and I found them eating, and they had eaten some under their pillows. I was like, oh my God. So what do I do? It's just, it's so much.
It's natural. They're praying. It's natural. It's amazing how humans do not accept things that are not allowed. This feeling of I cannot have it, or I shouldn't be having it, or the feeling of deprivation makes you want it more. It's not easy, but yes, good thing. I really commend the way you did it. Have that, you laid them down and have the candy. I would say young children have to have a piece of dessert. The French people, they have dessert every day. They have no problem. French people, I really envy them. They have dessert every single day. And my recommendation is that have lunch, give dessert with lunch. This way you're done. This way they won't go back and forth to nibble or to look for it. So you tell them, this is your lunch, now this is your dessert. The French people do that. They have lunch, they have dessert. And you're done, But if you don't give them dessert with lunch, they will, Mom, I didn't have my sweet of the day. So they would go back and forth trying to fulfill this desire that they didn't have. Any more questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.